You know what you should do? You should follow me on Twitter at Brommer018. Link in the description. Do it now. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well. It's Brommer18 here, and today I'm bringing you something a little bit different. Now, any subscribers on my channel will know that I am doing a FIFA 20 custom tactics series, and it's a series where we recreate real systems. As you can see down below, we've got currently 26 different tactics, different systems that I've gone through so far, and I thought what I'd do today is sort of make a tier list. Now, what I get a lot of comments on my channel and on my videos is people asking, you know, what's the best tactic for this? What tactic should I use? Should I do this? I want to play that sort of style, etc. I want effective tactics and stuff. So, you know, I thought this is really the best way to answer questions. So I've made a tier list on tierlists.com, and you guys can also go on it as well. If you've used plenty of my tactics, you can give it a go. Maybe send them to me on Twitter or something. Take a picture of it, a screenshot, and send it me on Twitter. I'd be very interested to see what tactics you guys use. But this is it. Of course, it's my profile's called Brommer, and I'll link it in the description anyway, so you can use it yourself. And you know, we've got the FIFA 20 real tactics tier list here. So yeah, what we're going to go through, I'm going to rank them based on two things really. One is the effectiveness, how effective they are in game, and the other one is the enjoyability. So, you know, how much I enjoy playing with them, and that's really how I'm going to rank them going forward. So you know, hopefully you should get the basis of it as we're going along. So really, we'll start with, I guess, Ancelotti, and we'll just move our way through alphabetically. I was going to start through with F and work my way up, but I think we'll just do it through, you know, the image order. So first off, we've got Carlo Ancelotti's 4-3-2-1, the Christmas tree formation, and this one is going straight up to A. This is one of the very few elite sort of tactics, and I should probably also say that the ratings are based on, you know, A being elite tactics, ones that I will resort to and absolutely love, and F being tactics that I will just never use from now on. So yeah, with Carlo Ancelotti, we've got this right up there in A. Anyone who watched my Milan career mode series will have seen me playing with this system and know that I had a lot of enjoyment out of it as well, because it was just so effective and so great to use, you know. So I definitely suggest that one going forward. So next we've got Mikel Arteta's 4-2-3-1, and this one is actually going in the E category. Now, something I'm going to say, which a lot of people I imagine have found out, but certainly something that I've found out, and that's 4-2-3-1 on FIFA 20, particularly ones that control possession, aren't very effective. And that's going to be a theme running through this video. You'll find any 4-2-3-1s that have an objective to control possession will be sort of lower down on the list. There's one or two that are more counter-attacking, such as Ollie's 4-2-3-1, and we'll come on to that a bit later. But yeah, they're just not so effective in this game, unfortunately. The wingers don't get into advanced positions enough. Of course, two holding mids, you recycle possession well, but you just don't have a lot going forward. And you know, maybe it's a bit better on offline, but particularly when you're playing against other people, you're going to find it hard to break people down. That's why it's more effective when you're using a counter-attacking 4-2-3-1. Next up, we've got Guardiola's Barcelona 4-3-3. Of course, we've got his Manchester City one as well, but it's a little bit different than the Barcelona one, and this one is going in B. Very enjoyable tactic to play with, as is the majority of tiki-taka ones, providing that they're organised enough. Same with his Man City 4-3-3, although that'll be a bit different, and we'll come on to that a bit later. But yeah, particularly this one, providing you've got the right personnel for it, it's a very enjoyable tactic and earns itself a solid B. Next up, we have Bielsa's 4-1-4-1, 4-3-3, whatever you may call it. This one is going in D. So unfortunately, this goes a little bit lower. Similar to the 4-2-3-1 systems is that, you know, you haven't got the wingers in advanced areas. They're right and left midfielders rather than wingers. So the problem with that is, like I say, they're just not into those advanced pockets of space enough. It's harder to instigate a counter press. So this one falls a little bit deeper. Of course, though, because you've only got one holding midfielder rather than two, a little bit better than maybe a 4-2-3-1. So it does earn itself a D in that respect. Next up, we have Conte's 3-5-2 with Inter Milan, and this is going into the C column. As free at the back formations go, this is okay, and there's a couple that you'll see that you know, a real elite tiers in this, but you know, Conte's is a little bit lower, but it's still decent though. It's still well worth a use because, you know, you've got those two strikers, so you've got that outlet. And also, it's not as defensive as, say, you know, maybe an Ollie's 3-5-2, an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 3-5-2 even, you know, because it's a little bit more, there's a little bit more emphasis on sort of controlling possession, you know, pressing the opposition, and it's just not so defensive, really. But, yeah, so it earns itself a solid C. I think that's a fair rating for that one. Next up, we have Johan Cruyff's 3-4-3, the total football system, and unfortunately this one is only in D. So of course in real life an absolutely fantastic system, and you know, in FIFA 19 as well, I actually recreated this system in FIFA 19 and used it in my Ajax career mode series. Some of you will of course have seen that, and in that it was really good, it was very effective. But of course the gameplay changes a little bit this year, and you know, sort of, you've got two right and left midfielders, and then you've also got wingers on top, but wing plays, you know, not quite as important this year. You know, crossing itself is not so good. Of course, you're coming into the middle, but you've got less players in the middle, so you know, it's just not quite as effective on FIFA 20 compared to what it was in FIFA 19. So as a result, only a D. Still well worth you know, a use. You can, particularly in career mode, you can get a bit of use out of it, but you know, if you're playing against other people, I would suggest, you know, you don't use this system. Next up, we have Alex Ferguson's 4-4-2, the 07-08 system when he was at Manchester United, and this one's going into the C. Fairly well balanced, well worth playing with and giving it a go, providing you've got the right personnel. Of course, it's very important to try and replicate those Ronaldo, Rooney, Tevez roles, etc. To get, you know, you've got to get the right players for that. But providing you do, you'll have some fun with this system. So I think C is a good rating for it, and you know, one that you'll enjoy. I've certainly enjoyed playing with this system. Next up, we have Gasparini's 3-4-1-2 with Atalanta, and this, as I alluded to earlier, there are one or two elite three at the back systems, and this is one of them. Goes straight into the A column. This is without a doubt the best 3-4-1-2 three at the back system that I have created so far on the channel. Well organised. Really well done, very, very effective. I've found that this formation, the 3-4-1-2, is particularly very effective providing it's done right, and it's extremely, as I say, well organised. A lot of players in the right areas, particularly when you've got someone like Alejandro Gomez at cam. He's so different to the majority of other centre attacking midfielders because, of course, he's a lot smaller but very much more agile and pacey, and as well as having a technical ability, and so it's just so handy. Really, really good. Absolutely love playing with this system, and you know, want to suggest all of you give a go because it's extremely enjoyable to play with, and the two strikers as well being up front, you know, helps it out a lot. Next up, we have Steven Gerrard's 4-3-2-1, 4-3-3, whatever you want to call it. This is going to be our first F column, unfortunately. Now, it's a shame to see. I know there's a few Rangers subscribers on my channel as well who will be a bit puzzled at this. Now, the problem with this system, and you know, I also think, strangely enough, this is the problem with the system in real life as well, is that the wingers actually come in narrow. They're playing as you know, attacking midfielders or right and left forward, and they're not getting out wide. He doesn't get them out wide enough, and that's really the problem with the system in real life as well. You've got the likes of Ryan Kent, Jordan Jones, Yanis Hadji. You know, I think with someone like those players, like a Ryan Kent or a Jordan Jones, you want to get them out wide as much as possible, get them onto the touchline, and then isolate them against the fullback. And with this system, you don't get that as much. They come in a lot narrower. It's a lot about, you know, creating space for the wing backs to get forward, but they're just not quite as effective. And so, you know, I've really not enjoyed playing with this system. When I you know, did play with this system, I tended to find myself making tweaks to it in my own sort of personal time, not to recreate the system, and you know, finding them a lot better, such as getting those wingers out wide. So yeah, this is a system I just won't play. You know, I don't find it effective at all anymore, and certainly you guys can recreate it and see if you know, you can find it any different. But for me, you know, I certainly won't be playing with this one anytime soon. Moving on to Guardiola's 4-3-3, we have another one in the elite column. Right up there into A. Guardiola's 4-3-3, the very first tactic that I did, and it still holds up. Really, really fun tactic to play with. I think it's also the most viewed video I've got on the tactics list as well, so, you know, with good reason, really. The reason why this is a little bit better than Guardiola's 4-3-3 with Barcelona is because, obviously, you've got different personnel, so the systems are a little bit different. And with the Man City system, they're a little bit sort of more tailored to the way FIFA 20 plays. So as a result, when I am playing a tiki-taka like style, when I want to play a possession-based system, you know, I'll generally go to something similar to Guardiola's Manchester City. And like I say, really, really fun to play with and very effective as well, providing you're playing in the right way. Next up, we have Inzaghi's 3-5-2 system. This one will go into the C column, fairly solid. It's very similar to Antonio Conte, not in the way it plays, but in the fact that, you know, it's a decent three at the back system. You'll have some fun with it. You know, you'll get some decent results with it, but just not quite as effective as, say, Gasparini's three at the back system, which I think really nails down what you're looking for in FIFA. So, you know, with that, straight into the C column, well worth a go. But not the top one that I would try. Next we have Jurgen Klopp's 4-3-3. This will also go into the C category. Again, it's decent, and you know, when you've got the personnel, particularly online, I think this is very, very good when you're playing against other people online. A counter-attacking system, lots of pace. You've got the three sort of what's the word? Sort of engines in midfield, protecting the you know, defensive areas when the fullbacks overlap. So online you might have some fun with this, but in particular when you're playing again in, you know, career mode, for example, I think it will be, you know, a little bit less sort of effective, and that's what I've certainly found when playing offline games. Something like this, you just don't have that control in the centre of the park in advanced areas. You'll find it harder to break people down. So, you know, it's a decent system, and I would suggest playing with this sort of more online, whether that be seasons or the game mode that we don't mention. You know, then go for that. But I would say, when you're playing a, you know, say career mode, for example, maybe, you know, use a different system. So we now have Lampard's 4-2-3-1, and exactly the same as Arteta's. You know, this is into the E column. It's another 4-2-3-1, just not quite as effective, unfortunately. And like I say, this will be a running theme with any 4-2-3-1s that you know, sort of like to control possession. You know, again, it's just harder to break teams down, really, with, you know, less advanced players and stuff like that. So, you know, exactly the same, really. Not too much I need to go into there. However, with another 4-2-3-1, we have Jose Mourinho's Real Madrid 4-2-3-1. This one straight up there in the B. I have to say, I absolutely love playing with this system. When I play against other people, I will play with this system. You know, you keep the fullbacks back, really, and then you've got the front four really just breaking the opposition at full pace. The holding midfielders, maybe one goes, one stays. But it offers you so much more protection. You'll find yourself a lot more solid, providing you yourself are defending well enough. Again, when you're playing in career mode, a little bit harder to break teams down, but it's a little bit better because you've got so many players interchanging. You know, you've got the two wingers are cutting inside, the cams on free roam, etc. The striker might be drifting wide in certain situations. That's why it's a little bit more effective than, you know, say one of the other 4-2-3-1s, like an Ollie or something like that. So, you know, I find this one, personally, if you're going to use a 4-2-3-1, this is the best one to do it with. Next up, we have Nuno's 3-4-3, and we have another one in the bottom column. Again, it's a similar sort of situation with Johan Cruyff's 3-4-3, except this time you've sort of got a little bit less protection because you don't have a holding midfielder. You've got two central midfielders. And like I say, you know, crossing in this game just sort of becomes, is almost irrelevant, really. And as a result, so you've got the two wing backs and you've got the right and left winger as well. And, you know, part of Wolves' game is being direct and getting balls down the line and whipping them in, etc., to the targets like Raul Jimenez. It just doesn't work on FIFA 20. So, you know, as a result, not very effective and therefore not very enjoyable to play. Simple as. And it's unfortunate because in real life, a very, very good system. But on FIFA 20, just doesn't quite cut it. Next up, we have Ranieri's 4-4-2. Nice and counter-attacking for when he won the Premier League with Leicester, and this goes into the B column. Very enjoyable to play with. Of course, there is another 4-4-2 that will come along, that we'll come on to very shortly, that will beat it out for the elite spot of a 4-4-2. But, you know, this is still very, very good tactic. Counter-attacking tactics are really fun to play with, really, particularly when you can get them right, and this one, you know, does have it right, so it goes into the B column, and it's one that you should definitely have a look at playing. Next up, we have Brendan Rodgers' 4-1-4-1, 4-3-3, whatever you want to call it. This goes into the D column. got a little bit more advanced than, say, the other ones like the Arteta and the Lampards, because you've got the likes of Yuri Tielemans, who's coming out wide a little bit more and just creating those sort of mismatch options and a bit more space, you know, in the middle of the park. So it's a little bit more effective, but generally it's not one that I'm probably going to come back to, if I'm honest. You know, there's a lot better on here, but certainly one that you should definitely at least give a go and see what you think yourself. You know, it can have its moments for sure. Moving on to Arrigo Sacchi's 4-4-2 with AC Milan. This is in the C column, and similar to what I've spoken about previously, if you're going to play this offline, very, very good. You know, you're really going to enjoy yourself. I mean, it's renowned for how attacking this system is, but if you're going to play online against other people, I would steer clear of using this tactic, to be honest. You're going to be very open, concede a lot of goals. There's less emphasis on retaining possession, more on just being all-out attack, vertical threat, relentless sort of pressure and passing and trying to, you know, create openings. So on career, you'll get lots of enjoyment out of it. Simple as, you know, I've played it as well. You will get tons of enjoyment out of this on offline, but online, steer clear basically, and that's why it only comes into the C column. Next up we have Quique Setien's 4-3-3/4-2-3-1. Again, this is down in the D category. Patient probing sort of possession, so it's a little bit better, but in the end, you know, not quite as effective as one of these other tiki-takas like Guardiola's 4-3-3 systems, unfortunately. So again, worth a shot, you know, particularly if you're going to use it with Barcelona, something like that. Then yeah, well worth a go, but not something that I'm going to sort of pin my hopes on, to be honest. And now we move on to the Elite 4-4-2, Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid tactic into the Elite A column. Absolutely love this system, and like I said, with Ranieri's 4-4-2, you've got a 4-4-2 counter attack. You can have a lot of sort of joy out of that, but this just does it a little bit better. You've got a lot more sort of man movement and create space going forward, but it's so solid defensively as well. Really, really do love this tactic. And back when I did used to play that game mode that we won't mention, you know, this was actually the system that I used to use. Absolutely loved using it. So yeah, this is just well worth a go. Just do it. And a lot of people, by the way, are suggesting that I do an Atletico career mode, and if EA do tend to fix career mode on ultimate difficulty anytime soon, then I would absolutely love to do that, and playing this system as well, that would be really, really fun. So hopefully we can get on that as well at some point. Now we have Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 3-5-2 system, and this one's going to go in C. So different to the other three at the back systems, it's very, very defensive. So, you know, when you're playing, as I spoke about in the video, teams like offline, really good teams, Man City, Liverpool, etc., this is going to be very effective for you. But it's not a plug-and-play tactic, you know, and it's less fun. That's really what I'm basing this one on. It's fairly effective at what it wants to do. It wants to defend, it wants to be solid, hit teams on the counter, but it's not quite as fun as, say, Mourinho's 4-2-3-1, for example, which is just a fun counter-attacking system. You've got a lot more fluidity going forward, a lot more pace and faster build-up, etc. So, you know, this one comes into the C column. It's a fine tactic. It's good. You know, give it a go. For sure, you'll enjoy it, but there's certainly not one that's plug and play. Also, we do have another 4-2-3-1 system, and that is going into the C column as well. So it's a little bit different to the other 4-2-3-1s because, as I said, more of a counter-attack. But because it's less fluid than Mourinho's, that's why it only comes into C, because it's slightly less effective when you are trying to sort of control games and stuff. Whereas with Mourinho's, like I say, you got a lot more movement and fluidity and interchanging coming from the attackers, whereas with this, a little bit less. So it goes into the C column. It's okay. It's good, it'll do the job, but not the best 4-2-3-1 system in this list. Next up, we do have Erik ten Hag's 4-2-3-1, and as you would expect, this is into the E column. Exactly the same as the other two, Arsenal and Chelsea. You control possession with a 4-2-3-1. It's not very effective on the game, doesn't work very well, and so unfortunately this sort of suffers. Next up, we have Arsene Wenger's 4-4-2. This goes into the D column, and the reason why is that controlling possession with a 4-4-2 on FIFA is a lot harder than you'd think, particularly when they're set up like that they are in a way that in the Arsenal Invincibles system. You know, of course, it's just obviously in real life a wonderful, wonderful system, a brilliant team, but on this, just not quite as effective. Again, I would advise that you try it out just for the sake of, you know, having a look at the system, seeing what you think, because of course it's a very monumental sort of system. It's a historic tactic, but you know, it's not one that I personally use, you know, on FIFA. Next up, we have Chrissy Wilder's 3-5-2 system. We spoke about 3 at the backs and how there's a couple of elite ones. This one goes into the B column. Love this system. Not quite up there with the 3-4-1-2 of Gasparini. That's because we had a little bit of problem with the positioning in this system. If any of you have watched this video, you'll see that there was a little bit of issues with changing positions and stuff. So it's not quite as organised with the midfield 3. You know, the 2 holding mids, the attacking mid, etc. Whereas Gasparini, you've got that sort of organisation. Everyone is in the right role, and it works out very well. However, having said that, still a brilliant tactic. Love this system. Just as good in real life, even better in real life actually than it is in FIFA probably. But yeah, really fun system to play with. Control possession very, very nicely, nice and solid at the back. So well worth giving this one a try. And finally, to round off this video, we have Zinedine Zidane's Real Madrid system from 2016 to 2018, when of course they did win back-to-back Real UEFA Champions League titles even. And this one's going into the D column. There's nothing special about this one, to be honest. It's worth bearing in mind that in real life, it was very reliant on Ronaldo. You know, and I know people don't like to admit it, but it was. The same way, you know, Barcelona reliant on Messi. You know, to win 3 back-to-back Champions Leagues, it's not just about system. You've got that game changer, and that's what they had. And so, you know, with it being designed based on that, there are going to be flaws with it. So that's why it only comes into the D column. There are better controlling systems, and that's why I'd suggest you're better off playing with the likes of one of Guardiola's systems, you know, if you want a system like that. So, you know, that for me is why that only comes into the D column. So that's about it, everyone. I've really enjoyed doing this, actually, talking about it. I hope you guys have too. No idea how this video is going to do, but you know, I just wanted to get it out there because, like I say, lots of questions coming about, you know, which tactics are the best, etc., which ones I should use. Now you really get a good idea of you know, just at least what my feelings are. Your guys might be different, and I'd love for you guys to maybe get at me on Twitter, give a screenshot of your tier list and send it to me. That would be absolutely brilliant, you know, because I'd really love to see what other people think of the tactics as well. But for me, you know, this is how I do it. So yeah, really enjoyed doing this one. If you've enjoyed it as well, please do leave a like on the channel. Let me know that you are enjoying it. Please do subscribe to the channel as well if you aren't already for more regular gaming content. Don't forget to ring the bell as well so that you get notifications every time I upload a video. On that note, we are going to finish it off there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.